But this time around, I feel like this ex-vegan's journey deserves to be heard, listened to thoroughly, and fully accepted by the vegan community. Hey, what is going on, guys? So today we're going to talk about a new ex-vegan who I actually have no issues with. I have no issue with them no longer being vegan. Usually on this channel, when somebody diverts away from the moral philosophy that we should not be mass murdering animals for a sandwich, I take issue. I'll express this in the form of a video where I'll cover what issues I have with the things they're saying. It can just be fairly confusing for me to hear. Like, how could one go from fighting against the oppression of the most oppressed beings on the planet to no longer doing so? And not only no longer fighting against this oppression, but voluntarily supporting it themselves and then publicizing it to the entire world, in turn causing other people to consider supporting the oppression. This is the usual thought process that drives my vehement opposition to ex-vegans. But this time around, I feel like this ex-vegan's journey deserves to be heard, listened to thoroughly, and fully accepted by the vegan community. This ex-vegan is Rachel Brathen, who is otherwise known as Yoga Girl on Instagram. She has a story highlight on her Instagram called Superfoods, which definitely isn't a super ambiguous term with no commonly accepted definition in the scientific literature, so this is how we can tell she's a great source of information. Anyway, I would like to read her Instagram post expressing that she is no longer vegan, but I want to read the version that was beautifully restated by Elwood Organic Dog Meat, who, like me, is extremely proud of her for no longer being a vegan. Elwood Organic Dog Meat and myself are just so happy to know that Yoga Girl no longer cares to not pay for animals to be bred, exploited, and murdered for nutrients that we can obtain from alternative sources. From what I've gathered, she stopped her vegan journey to consume dog meat. And of course, Elwood Organic Dog Meat is going to be super on board with that, as am I. So let's read the caption. Before restating the caption of her post, Elwood went on to state how proud they are of this brave woman, and I couldn't agree more. The caption goes on to say, "Some of you guessed it, I'm not anti-dog meat anymore. Out of the many benefits I've experienced so far, the greatest one was getting rid of the label and the deeply ingrained identity of being, quote, anti-dog meat that I held on to for so many years. Not eating dogs wasn't just about what I put on my plate, it was a part of who I was. And just like many of the labels I've confined myself in over the years, I'd begun to outgrow this one long before I actually took steps to move away from it." Guys, there is nothing better, truly nothing better, than outgrowing your refusal to pay for dogs to be mass murdered for a sandwich. Let's keep reading. "It was scary, even contemplating eating dogs again. Scarier yet to tell the truth to a world I know will have lots of opinions around how I choose to live my life. And I know that because I, too, used to be against eating dogs and had big opinions about how the rest of the world should live. But I'm telling you, there's a huge freedom in getting rid of the, quote, I don't eat dogs label, in stepping out of the tight box of what I'm, quote, supposed to do and move closer to my inner intuition and what actually feels right for me today. And that's eating dog meat." Guys, really, I mean, what a brave woman. She is stepping out of the label of not supporting dog abuse and listening to her inner intuition's feeling and discovering that she actually wants to consume dog meat and then following through. This really is her journey. Today, I want to live a lifestyle that's closer to how my ancestors lived. I want to live in close connection with the land. I want to feel full, whole, nourished. And truth was, as someone who avoided eating dog meat, I wasn't. I thought I was. I truly did. But I wasn't. And I'm questioning now how to actually serve the world, what it means to live a truly sustainable life, and to take care of this earth. It's taken a lot of unlearning to arrive at this place, and I'm still exploring, learning how to listen to my body. Guys, she wants to live a lifestyle that is closer to her ancestors who had no concept of nutritional science or environmental science, in an effort to eat in a way that makes her more nourished and a way that makes her more sustainable. She wants to live like our ancestors and is telling us about it on her very ancestral smartphone on a very ancestral app, Instagram. I cannot express how ancestral and commendable these actions are. Many of you are where I am, contemplating changing, outgrowing old ways, and considering whether any animal actually matters. And many of you will be triggered by this share. The choice at the end of the day is mine, and I ask that you stay respectful in how you voice your opinions. I share the story of how I got back to eating dog meat on today's episode of the podcast. Guys, really, I cannot get over how brave and strong she is for going back to paying for animals to be mass murdered for nutrients. And the part about our ancestors, I mean, who needs modern day nutritional science when you can eat the way our ancestors intuitively ate while fighting to survive? Let's ignore the fact that our ancestors ate extremely varied diets because they really only ate what was available to them. Let's also forget about their awful mortality rates. And why should we stop at what they ate? What about their ethical code? Our ancestors participated in murder, rape, pillaging. Our ancestors really knew what was good with ethics. I hope Yoga Girl continues to live ancestrally and starts to commit these actions, because I mean, you can't really get any more ancestral than raping and pillaging, right? All right, guys, I've also come to find out that she wrote a poem about an egg. Okay, let's give it a read. This egg, guys, I'm already about to cry. This egg, dude, the bravery. Gifted to me by my daughter, wearing boots and a jacket for the first time in her life. A serendipitous egg, a sign that felt just as much an invitation as it did a threat. I carried it with me in my pocket on our walk home, feeling like I was carrying a secret. Laid it on my altar, where it rested as I sat in front of the fire, for the first time questioning the many old stories I held inside about how I was supposed to live, what I was supposed to eat, who I was supposed to be. Wow, guys. So while she was holding this object that very likely came from a process that entailed male baby chicks being ground up alive because they're useless to the egg industry, she felt like she was holding a secret. Amazing. The earth, the air, the fire, the water. Return, 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 return. I'm not sure what this part means, but it's beautiful. I ate this first egg with salt and reverence, tears streaming down my face. Tears streaming down her face. Were the tears for the male baby chicks that are ground up alive because they're useless to the egg industry? Who knows? I'm not really sure why there were tears. After so many years, I thought it would taste awful, that it would be disgusting, that it would make me sick. It didn't. It wasn't. I'm so surprised that a singular egg didn't make her sick. I could have sworn one molecule of egg will make you sick. It tasted like childhood. It tasted like coming home. Her childhood tastes like something that comes out of a chicken's anus, or cloaca, where blood, piss, and shit come through. This is not worrying at all. Really, guys, what a beautiful and touching poem. I wish dogs just laid eggs so that this, beautiful poem can also apply to dogs who have to be, ground up alive because they're useless to the hypothetical dog egg industry. But unfortunately, dogs can't produce eggs, but we can just use our imagination. Guys, I really just can't get over how brave this woman is for sharing her journey and talking about how she's no longer identifying as somebody who is anti-animal abuse. I really just can't wait for those dogs to be bred into existence, to be murdered, just because, we gotta live like our ancestors, They knew what was good with nutrition. Let's go backwards in civilization. Let's take civilization and just go backwards. That really makes a lot of sense. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Dude,
fuck off. I don't want anything to do with you. Don't ever speak to me again. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Even vegans don't get your weird, stupid wannabe sense of irony here. Who is your audience? Nobody gets these dumb jokes. Dude,